Welcome back, students. Let's continue with the solid state. So in the last class we have studied about the Bravais lattice and all the different Bravais lattice which we have in our course. Okay, so 14 Bravais lattice we have studied there. Now let's move to the next part of our chapter, which is the structure of some important covalent compounds. Okay, so in this we are going to take the example of two. One is the diamond. Okay, one is the diamond and other one is the graphite. Okay, these two example we are going to take and see what are the structure of diamond and what are the structure of graphite as a covalent crystal. Okay, so diamond diamond is a crystal you know very well, but which type of crystal it is? It is a covalent crystal. Okay, it means the bonds which are been present in a crystal of the diamond, it is the covalent crystal. And we also know that the diamond's crystal lattice will be of which type? It is of face centered cubic type unit cell is there. Okay, it is having a face centered cubic type unit cell. What is the structure of the diamond? So we know that tetrahedral structure is for diamond. It means one carbon is attached to three different carbon atoms, and like this all the carbon atoms are being attached to the other four carbon atoms in order to form the tetrahedral structure. Okay, so this is the structure for your carbon atoms present in the diamond. Okay, next, what is the length of the carbon carbon bond here? Means the length between the two carbon bond in the diamond, it is 1.34 Armstrong. Okay, 1.34 Armstrong it is. Armstrong means 1 Armstrong means 10 to the power minus 10 meters. Okay, so hence the bond length is in carbon carbon bond for a covalent crystal structure in in diamond, it is 1.34 Armstrong. Okay, what is the refractive index for diamond? It is 2.4. Okay, the refractive index for diamond is 2.4, and on the basis of this only the purity of the diamond or the truthness of the diamond is been authenticity of the diamond is been checked out by gemologists. Okay, next, what is the property for diamond in the context of power of light? So it is having high dispersive power of light. Okay, its photo property is that it is highly dispersive and it can disperse the light into a very higher extent. Its electrical conductivity, it is a non-conductor or insulator. And the network, it is a network type crystal. Okay, which type of crystal it is? It is a covalent or network crystal. Okay, the type of crystal it is covalent or network type crystal it is. Next, one of the hardest substance known. Okay, one of the hardest substance ever known. And also, what is the application for? Due to this hardness of the diamond, we use it as abrasive. One of the best abrasive we use it as, we use it to cut the glasses. Okay, to cut the glasses into its finest shapes. Okay, without breaking the glasses we can cut it easily by using the diamond cutters. Also, for cutting the diamond, a diamond is also used. Okay, so these are some of the properties of the diamond. Now let's move further and see what is the tetrahedral structure for the diamond. So the tetrahedral structure for the diamond is like this. Here you can see that the carbon atoms, this single carbon atom, this is a carbon atom. It has been connected to four different carbon atom to form a tetrahedral structure here. So this is the tetrahedral structure. Okay, this is the tetrahedral structure, and this carbon is been joined like this. Okay, so this is the tetrahedral structure. Okay, here. Similarly, this carbon atom is also connected to 4 carbon here like this. Okay, this here also it is forming a tetrahedral structure. You can see like this. Okay, this is the tetrahedral structure here also. So like this network is been followed up regularly. Okay, this network has been followed up regularly, and a regular tetrahedral structure has been formed out here like this. Okay, C, C. Okay, so here also you will see a tetrahedral structure has been forming out here. Okay, so this is the network structure. This network structure is for 3D structure is for carbon, for diamond. Okay, and hence due to presence of this network structure only, carbon diamond is one of the hardest substance. Okay, it is one of the hardest substance known. Next is the graphite. Okay, next is the graphite. So everybody knows that in graphite there are total 6 carbon atoms which are attached to each other to form a hexagonal shape. Okay, hexagonal shape like structure. The carbon are attached with each other, and this hexagonal shape is again attached to the other carbon atom which is also forming a hexagonal shape. So this becomes one layer. This is the one layer of the carbon atoms which is hexagonal shape. Next, this layer, these carbon atoms will be attached to the another layer of the carbon atom which is hexagonal shape. Then other layer will be connected to the downward also. So like this, the layer of carbon atom is present out here. Okay, and this layering of carbon forms out the structure of the graphite. Okay, here hexagonal structure will be seen out here. Here the carbon atoms, which kind of which kind of structure will be seen here. Let's talk about it. One of the softest substance ever known. Okay, due to this reason only, the presence of hexagonal layer like structure, it is one of the softest substance ever known. Okay, one of the softest solid ever known. It is also having a 2D hexagonal layer structure. The structure here is a 2D hexagonal layered structure there. Carbon carbon bond length, here the carbon carbon bond length is of length, means a carbon attached to another carbon atom like this in a hexagonal form. Okay, like this. The bond length of the carbon carbon here is 1.45 Armstrong. Okay, means the distance between the bond of two carbon atoms, it is 1.45 Armstrong. Okay, and the interlayer distance, means the distance between two layers. The distance between the two layers means one layer is upside and one layer is below here, downside like this. So here the distance between these two layers, means the distance between these two layers, it will be 3.54 Armstrong. Okay, it is 3.54 Armstrong. Also, due to presence of that much distance between them, the layers can slide over each other. Okay, the layers can slide over each other, therefore they are having sliding nature. Which kind of hybridization is here? You can see that each carbon atom is been attached to other 3 carbon atoms. 1 2 3. Okay, 3 carbon atom is attached out, and 3 covalent bonds are formed out here. So therefore each carbon atom is containing here sp2 hybridization. Okay, each carbon atom is containing here sp2 hybridization, and one of the electron is been left out here as a free electron. Due to this reason only, the graphites are one of the electron conductor. Okay, it are the electric conductors, not electric insulator. They are the conductors, while the diamond was electric insulator. The specific gravity is very low, that is 2.2 only. Okay, and it is having metallic luster also. It is having metallic lusters. When you see graphite stone or graphite, then you will see that it is having a metallic luster, while it is not a metal. It is a non-metal, but it is having a metallic luster. And due to its sliding nature, it is used as one of the good lubricants. Okay, we can use it as good lubricant for machines and all these things. We can use it as lubricant, and it can reduce the friction in order to make the machine run smoothly. Okay, next, the 2D structure of graphite. Here you can see the 2D structure of graphite, where all the different values and things are given out here. Here a special thing is going to, I am going to tell you that if the uppermost layer, the uppermost layer is the A layer, named A layer, then the lowermost layer will be named as B layer, and then again A layer will be there. So here the layering type, or the closed packing in 3D structure, closed packing in 3D, it is done in the form of ABA. Okay, it is done in the form of ABA, and here you can see that it is forming which kind of lattice it is forming. It is forming a hexagonal lattice. Okay, it is forming a hexagonal lattice. You can see here one, then here, then again, then. Okay, like this, a hexagonal lattice has been formed out here. 6 carbon atoms are been attached, and this will be formed out here. And due to this reason only, it is a ABA type arrangement. Okay, the distance between two layers and the distance between first and the third layer, you can see here, that means the distance between two alternating layers is 6.708 Armstrong, while the distance between AB layer is 3.354. Okay, here you can see that these carbon atoms are not attached to any of the below carbon atoms, and hence due to that reason only they are having one free electron here. Okay, while these carbon atoms are attached, okay, to the next layer of the A. Here you can see that this carbon atom is attached to the next layer of the A carbon atom. Okay, so due to this reason only they are soft, and softer as comparison to that of the diamonds. Okay, because the layer attachment is very far away from each other, no direct layer attachment will be seen out here. Okay, let's start for the closed packed structure. Okay, what is the closed pack? It is the closed packing, and we are going to study about the closed pack structure for the crystals or solids. Okay, so in solids, the constituent particles are closed packed, leaving the minimum vacant space. Okay, the close packing is done in such a way that they can leave as much as vacant space. It must be minimum. Okay, so the packing is done in that way. So if I'm seeing the close packing in one dimension only, if I'm going to see that the close packing in one dimension only, then in close packing in one dimension, spheres are arranged in a row. These spheres are, if I am considering these spheres as particles, okay, this one sphere is depicting a particle of a solid. Then spheres are arranged in a row such that the adjacent atoms are in the contact with each other. Okay, it means that if this is one of the particles, so it must be in contact with the two neighboring or other neighboring particles, as much as more they can be in contact with each other. Okay, coordination number is defined as the number of the nearest neighbor particles. Okay, so here for this second number particle, the coordination number will be 2 for the single arrangement. Okay, but if I am considering it in 3D arrangement, that it can be more than 2 also. Okay, in case of one dimensional close packing, the coordination number is always equals to 2, as I have given you that for a one dimensional close packing, the coordination number is always 2. Okay, next, and I have given you the definition of the coordination number also, that the number of the nearest neighbor particles. Okay, it means the particle is the number of the particle it is touching, or it is sharing its space. Okay, that is known as the uh, coordination number. Next, close packing in two dimension. Okay, that was a close packing in single dimension. Now moving to the next, that is the close packing in two dimension. So there are two possible ways to arrange spheres in two dimension. In one dimension, we can arrange the sphere in only one way only, but in close packing in two dimension, there are two ways. First way, square closed packing. Okay, square closed packing. One way is the square closed packing. Here, the sphere in the first row is exactly aligned with the sphere on the second row. Here you can see that the sphere of the first row, this is the first row sphere, second row, third row, fourth row. Okay, so here the arrangement is like this, that the sphere in the first row is exactly aligned with the sphere of the second row, then the second row is aligned with the third row is aligned with the fourth row. Okay, and it is following square closed packing in two dimension. It is following the square closed packing in two dimension. Here you can see that when we join the center point of all the spheres, okay, if for a one sphere, if I am taking out the coordination number for this sphere, if I am counting out the coordination number, then this alone sphere is been attached to the four different particles. Okay, this particle, this alone particle is attached with the four different particles, and hence its coordination number becomes 4. The coordination number of this particle will become 4. All the particles are been having the coordination number of 4 only, because 4 particles will be attached with the single particle here. So hence we can attach these four particles into a square form. So hence this type of closed packing is known as square closed packing. The four other sphere that is in the direct contact with the central sphere is known as the nearest neighbor, and hence this, since each layer is exactly the same, this type of arrangement is known as the triple A arrangement. This type of arrangement is known as the triple A arrangement of closed packing. Okay, we call it as triple A arrangement. A arrangement of closed packing. Okay, or square closed packing in two dimension. Next. Hexagonal close packing in two dimension. Next is the hexagonal close packing in two dimension. Here, spheres in the second row are fit in the depression of the first row. Okay, the gap which is being formed out in the first row. Here you can see, if this is the A layer, this is the A layer. So the A layer will be arranged like that. It is filling up the gap of the first layers. Okay, and due to this reason, a small gap will be formed out here. If I am going to show you in the previous one, so here the gap is larger. You can see that the gap is much larger as comparison to that of the we have seen now. Okay, here you can see this gap is very much bigger. But in case of the next layering, here you can see that the gap is very much smaller due to the arrangement of the particles such a way that the first layer's gap is been covered up by the second layer, and then the second layer's gap is been covered up by the third layer. Like this only the arrangement will be there. So therefore this type of arrangement is considered as AB arrangement. Okay, AB arrangement. Okay, now if I am going to see the coordination number here, then each particle is touching the other six particles like this. So here we can form a hexagonal shape. Okay, each particle is touching the other nearest its six neighbor particles, so hence it is forming a hexagonal shape, and this type of packing therefore is known as hexagonal closed packing. Okay, therefore it is known as hexagonal closed packing. So hence the coordination number here becomes 6. Okay, the coordination number here becomes 6, and this type of packing is known as AB close packing. Okay, AB type close packing. Next, close packing in three dimension. Okay, now let's move to the major part or the final part where we are going to arrange this packing into 3D form. Okay, so here a 3D network, a three-dimensional network is made by placing two-dimensional layers one above the other. Therefore, they are also two different ways to arrange the spheres in three dimension. Okay, we can also arrange this in two types also. Here, first was the AA type. Now, as we have remembered there, a 2D layer was AA type only. So when AA type layers are being arranged with each other, AA type layers are being arranged with each other, then that type of arrangement will be forming a cubical structure here like this. Okay, a cubical structure will be formed out here like this, you can see. Okay, and here the smallest geometrical shape which I am forming here is the cube only. Okay, so therefore This type of arrangement is forming a primitive cubic cell. It is forming a primitive cubic cell. Okay, it is forming a primitive cubic unit cell or primitive cubic cell. This type of close packing is known as square close packing in 3 dimension. Okay, because you can see here one face is square in shape, so therefore this type of spacing is known as square closed packing in 3 dimension. Okay, and the lattice here, which is lattice used here, is the primitive cubic unit cell. Okay, primitive cubic unit cell is the lattice here. Next, hexagonal close packing in 3 dimension. Let's see hexagonal close packing in 3 dimension. How hexagonal close packing in 3 dimension works. So here one A layer, okay, is been placed beneath the B layer, and the A layer is covering all the gaps which is present in the B layer. Okay, so due to this reason, what will be happen? Each atom, each particle will be touching the other 6 particles here, and it will be forming out a proper 6 atoms, and the shape which will be formed out here, it will be a hexagonal shape. Okay, it will be a hexagonal shape like here, 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 6 like this. Okay, hexagonal shape will be formed out here like this, and each atom is been forming out this hexagonal shape only. Okay, so therefore this type of close packing is known as three-dimensional close packing in 3 dimension. Placing second layer over the first layer, sphere in the second row are fitting the depression of the first layer. Yes, I have told you that only, that the gaps of the first layer has been covered by the second layer. The second layer's gap has been covered by the third, fourth, fifth, like this they are going on. Let the number of the close packing sphere here be n. If the n number of close packing is here, then the number of the octahedral voids. What is the octahedral void and what is the tetrahedral void? So the octahedral voids and the tetrahedral voids, here you can see that the type of voids which are present here. Okay, here you can see that a gap is been present here, which I am coloring it with red color. Okay, so this type of gap which is formed out here, it is a very big gap. You can see this is a very big gap. Okay, and this gap is known as this gap. If I am forming it here like this, okay, so it is forming a structure like this. The structure of the gap I am drawing here. One will be here, one will be here, so it will be like this. The gap structure will be like this. Okay, so this type of structure has been drawn out here. Okay, so this gap is known as octahedral void. And if I'm taking out the single layer only, the layer of the single layer only, which is like this, then it is called as tetrahedral void. Then it is called as tetrahedral void. Okay. So two types of voids are there. One is octahedral void and one is the tetrahedral void. But in case of octahedral and tetrahedral void, the number of the spheres will be changed out. The number of the spheres will be changed out. And in case of octahedral void, if the number is n, then in case of tetrahedral void, it will be 2n. Okay, the tetrahedral voids will be having more number of spheres will be present out there, while in case of octahedral voids only n number of spheres will be present out here. Okay, next, placing the third layer above the second layer. If we are placing the third layer above the second layer, then covering of the tetrahedral void, how the covering of the tetrahedral void will be seen out there. Okay, so here, if all the tetrahedral voids of second layer is covered by the third layer, then the third layer would be exactly aligned with the first layer. What I've told you, that if All the tetrahedral voids of the second layer is being covered by the third layer. Means when third layer is placed and all the tetrahedral voids of the second layer is being covered up by the third layer, then the third layer would be exactly aligned with the first layer. It means it will be arrangement of B, A, B type. Okay, it means the arrangement for first and the third layer will be same, and the fourth and the second layer will be same. The alignment of second layer is different from the first layer, hence it is means it is mentioned as B layer. Two type of triangular voids are generated in this type of arrangement. How many types of triangular voids are generated here? Here two types of triangular voids are generated. One is the tetrahedral void. Okay, triangular void in first layer are covered by sphere of second layer. A regular tetrahedron is formed here when centers of all the four spheres is joined. Okay, here you can see that if I am joining the center of all the four sphere here like this, then a regular tetrahedron is formed out here. Okay, one, two, three. The structure will be like this. One center will be here, so all the three centers will be joined if like this. So this is the tetrahedral void, and it is forming a regular tetrahedron shape. Okay, next is the octahedral void. Okay, it is the octahedral void. So in case of octahedral void, triangular voids in the first layer are not covered by the sphere of the second layer. Okay, triangular void of the first layer is not covered up by the sphere of the second layer. So the triangular void in the second layer is above the triangular void of the first layer. A regular octahedron is formed out when centers of all the six spheres are joined. Okay, so the shape will be like this: one, one, two, three, one below here. So the structure will be like this. A regular octahedron is been formed out here like this. This is the shape of a octahedron, regular octahedron. Okay, so this type of shape is formed out when the first layers voids are not covered up by the second layer, and second layers void are not covered by the third layer like this. Okay, so this is known as octahedral void. Next, placing the third layer. For placing the third layer, how the placing the third layer over the second layer, how we can place the third layer over the second layer? When third layer is placed over the second layer, there are two possibilities. How many possibilities are there? There are total two possibilities covering the tetrahedral voids. What is the possibility? Tetrahedral voids of the second layer may be covered by the spheres of the third layer. In this case, the spheres of the third layer are exactly aligned with those of the first layer only. Okay. Thus, the pattern of the sphere is repeated in alternate layers. What I have told you that for tetrahedral voids of the second layer may be covered by the sphere of the third layer. In this case, the sphere of the third layer are exactly aligned with those of the first layer. Thus, the pattern of the sphere is repeated in alternate layers. And this pattern is often known as AB type pattern. Okay, I have discussed this before also that this type of pattern will be known as AB pattern, and this structure is known as hexagonal closed packing, HCP, hexagonal closed packing, HCP. This is termed as HCP or hexagonal closed packing. Okay, this sort of arrangement of atom is found in many metals like magnesium, zinc, and all this. So here the structure will be like this: A layer joined with B layer, then again with B layer, then A layer. So here the arrangement is forming a structure where first layer and third layers arrangement is same, and second layer and fourth layer arrangement is same here. But in case of cubic one, here the arrangement will be like this: A layer, B, C layer, then B layer, then A layer. Means the adjacent, the repeating of the layering will be done after two layer. Okay, after two layer we will be seeing the repeating of the layer, and due to this reason only the voids are large here. You can see the voids are very large here, and this type of arrangement is shown in the cubic arrangement. So here it is more easily you can see here that first a triangular arrangement is seen out here, means a triangular shape is left out here, and here the covering is done, so therefore it is forming a tetrahedron. Okay, next here also hexagonal packing is there, then again a triangular packing, then again what is here, here it is a tetrahedron. Okay, here also hexagonal packing is there, so here also it is a tetrahedron like this. While here you can see that the cubic packing is in the upside, where the cubic packing is the lower side. So here you can see that it is forming out a octahedron shape like this. Octahedron will be formed out here. Okay, and due to this reason only the octahedron shape only, here you can see the octahedral voids are present. Okay, this is the cubic closed packing and this is the hexagonal closed packing. Next, formulas of a compound and numbers of voids filled. So how we can find out the formulas of the compound? By getting out the numbers of the voids which are filled up. Okay, so let's take an example here. A compound is formed by two elements, X and Y. A question is given out here. What is asking here? That a compound is formed by two elements, X and Y. Atoms of the element Y as anion. Okay, atoms of the Y are anion, makes a CCP, means cubic closed packing. It is making cubic closed packing. Those of the element X as cations occupy all the octahedral voids. They are occupying all the octahedral voids. What is the formula of the compound found out here? We have to find out the formula of the compound found out. So first, the CCP lattice is formed by the element Y. Which type of lattice has been formed by element Y? It is forming a CCP lattice. Okay. The number of the octahedral voids generated would be equal to the number of the atoms present in the Y layer. Okay, the number of the octahedral voids will be equal to the number of the atoms present in the Y layer. Okay, so since all the octahedral voids here, which are formed here, are occupied by the atom X. It is given in the question that all the octahedral voids are being occupied by the X. Their number would also be equal to that of the element of Y. In order to fill all the number of the octahedral voids, the number of X must be equal to the number of Y. So here the ratio X is to Y ratio here becomes 1 is to 1. So hence the compound will be XY. Okay, the compound will be XY only. Next, atom of element B forms a hexagonal close packing lattice. Okay, and those of the element A occupies the 2 by 3rd of the tetrahedral voids. How much they are occupying? Only 2 by 3rd of the tetrahedral voids is been occupied here. So what is the formula of the compound formed by the element A and B? So now the number of the tetrahedral voids here formed is equal to the twice of the number of the element B. Okay, because tetrahedral voids are formed by twice of the number. Okay, and in case of octahedral void, it is the same number of elements must be required to form a octahedral void, while in case of tetrahedral void we have seen that 2n was required, 2n for tetrahedral voids, and in case of octahedral void it was n only. Okay, so for 2n it means the twice number of atoms will be required to form a tetrahedral void there, so the number of B will be twice. Also, only 2/3 of these voids are been covered or occupied by the element A. Hence, the ratio here becomes 2 into 2 by 3 is to 1. Like this, the ratio has been coming out here. So, the ratio becomes out here 4 by 3. The ratio becomes out here 4 by 3. And hence, the formula will be like this. A will be 4 and B will be 3 in number. So A4 B3. Or if in question if it is mentioned X or Y, then it will be X4 Y3. Like this the formula will be formed out here. Okay. So is it clear that for octahedral void, the number of the atoms it will be equal to the number of the octahedral voids, while in case of tetrahedral void, the number of the atom must be doubled out there. Okay, so here I am multiplying the number of atoms present divided by 1. Okay, and it will be giving me the value of the ratio, which is 4 by 3. Means the ratio will be here for the layering, here it will be 4 by 3. So 4 A's will be attached with the 3 B's in order to forming this compound, and hence the compound forms here A4B3. Okay, so this was your example for the formula of compounds filled with and number of voids filled out by them. Next is the packing efficiency. So we will take packing efficiency in our next lecture, and in the next lecture I will make you understand this packing efficiency, and there are some derivations also related to this, which are one of the important derivations. So in this particular topic which we have taken here, octahedral void, tetrahedral voids, and all these things are been asked in the paper. And this layering, AB layering, ABC A layering, like this, all these things are very important here. Okay, square close packing, hexagonal close packing, and all these things you have to read out by yourself also from the book. So for this I am closing the class here only, and we will continue our lessons in the next class. So thank you.